Hi, my name is Paul Laurando. It's my pleasure today to present the Award of Excellence to the winners of the 2020-2021 Architectural Student Design Competition of the Canadian Institute of Steel Construction. I'm an architect and I'm the chair of the Architectural Design Student Competition for the CISC. The event is a yearly competition that is organized by the CISC to invite and challenge architecture students registered in Canadian schools of architecture to submit a proposal that uses steel in the structure and the architecture of their project. The purpose is to showcase the potential and the qualities of using structural steel in building projects and to specify the AESS types of finish. The competition was first launched in 2001. It was the result of the hard work from Lorraine Follow of the University of Calgary. She was a member of the Board of Governors of Steel Structures Education Foundation that now operates under the CISC Education and Research Council. So you can see an image of the first Award of Excellence in 2001. It was a bus shelter. We normally try to find very simple projects where the structural steel is a major part of the project, so it can be highly visible. So for the 2020-2021 competition, the theme was the market, a grand steel canopy. Now, the design challenge was to select a site in a Canadian city where a market would stimulate an underused space, offer nearby services to residents at walking distance, create an area for social gathering that supports small businesses and the local community. There were 5 jury members, Tyler Sharp, architect at RDH Architects, who has previously won other CIC prizes. There is Sean Brown, an engineer at Dialogue. These are very creative people. There's Ted Collister, an engineer at the Supreme Group. Bishara Hilal, a professor at the School of Architecture at the University of Montreal. And myself, Paul Laurando, a practicing architect in Montreal. This year we received 53 proposals. There were 10 finalists, 2 awards of merit, and 1 award of excellence. The Award of Excellence carries with it an $8,000 prize that goes to the students and a $2,000 to the faculty sponsor. So I'm pleased to announce that this year's winners are James Kwan and Phil Carr-Harris. So congratulations, James and Phil have been awarded the Award of Excellence for this competition. They're students at the School of Architecture at the University of Waterloo. Their project, called Common Market, was selected for its creativity at interpreting the theme and design sophistication for the parts. And I must say that the amount of details that they have supplied was quite impressive. Their project is a collection of single steel modules that can be transported and rearranged according to the site of each market. The authors, in their own word, compare the experience of traversing underneath the canopy akin to that of a forest. So congratulations, James and Phil, for your beautiful projects, and I will now invite them to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Launder, for the warm introduction. And on behalf of both Phil and I'd like to thank the panel of judges of the 2020-2021 CISC Student Design Competition for granting us such an honor and privilege this year. We're truly so grateful to have our work recognized at such a prestigious scale, and there's really no understating how thankful and lucky we feel to be in this position. Phil and I had actually started entering into the student design competition since our first year, and it had always been a great opportunity for us to engage with questions of temporality, modularity, iconography, all very worthwhile architectural pursuits, in our opinion. And so for giving this space to explore these questions through exposed structural steel, we'd like to express our most sincere gratitude to the CISC for continuing this competition for students across Canada that always show up with really exceptional and high caliber work. Of course, none of this would have been possible for us without the guidance of our instructor, Terry Meyer-Boak, who's been such a knowledgeable figure for us in our education these past few years. We really owe a great deal of our success to the hard work of Professor Terry and her passionate and thorough approach to AESS. And I'll hand it off to Phil.
Thank you, James. I wanted to walk through a couple of the key considerations we thought about while designing the project. The first is the canopy, and the second is the market modules themselves. The canopy was modeled after the leaves in a tree canopy. We were really inspired by the fact that these disparate elements were able to create a continuous rain canopy. And in this application, that allows us to have daylight views and also interesting lighting conditions. The market modules themselves are designed the way they are because we wanted to give the eventual stakeholders of the people using the market the freedom to be participants in the design and create a space that was really unique and suited their environment. This approach, by having these individual modules that are able to be configured in a variety of different ways, allows us to suggest a large scale of different use cases for the market, and ultimately is what kind of like brings the community into the project. This is a basic element of the project, a market module. In pink, you can see essentially the steel elements that are consistent throughout each module, and in this light green color, you can see the elements that are able to be interchanged in order to accommodate a variety of different programmatic uses. You can see that essentially there is a concrete ballast at the bottom. This is prefabricated and it fits inside of a standard shipping container. There are 3 registration points that accept this column connection, which gives us more freedom in the arrangement of the top masts and rain covering, ultimately to act as though they were leaves and to provide sufficient rain covering. And on top of the concrete ballast, we then have a very simple steel frame that accepts kind of a floor, and that's the system by which all of these modules operate. The column comes in 3 different sizes and is can be moved up and down to create that continuous rain covering. And along the bottom here, we can see the projected different use cases for the different modules. Obviously, the blue is the addition. And another important point is that these rain coverings actually create an opportunity to collect gray water. So we're able to reuse that water in certain programmatic elements of the project. And the material for these coverings is made out of recycled sails. And the reason we use those is because they have a fantastic light quality, but also, you know, when we're thinking about reuse and upcycling in the project, it makes a lot of sense to use something that isn't kind of useful in its original application, but becomes a real focal point in this project. Ultimately, we're really excited about the possibility of using steel to design things as a kit of parts for future use and adaptation, and adapting to different sites. And we hope to continue this research into the future. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, James and Phil. And I must say, in your last page, you know, your 3D details are very nice. Well, one thing actually that puzzled the jury was your choice of colors, and we wondered from what had inspired it. I don't know if you had a few comments on that.
Yeah, the overall colors throughout the whole thing actually indicate the type of AESS required in each element. And so it really consists of standard base, a very modular base that consists of standard units of HSS, and the more warm-toned elements require a bit more care and would be in the kind of AESSC category.
Okay,
And
well, go ahead, Phil.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to quickly say that it's also really kind of like examining the tension between these kind of like elements that are almost off-the-shelf components and these custom modular elements that are able to be switched out. So in this diagram right here, you can see that the blue elements in the color palette, there are things that we can switch out to accommodate a variety of different programmatic uses, while the pink elements are consistent in each one of the modules.
Thank you again for these explanations and for your beautiful project. On behalf of the jury and myself, I hope this competition has been an introduction on the use of structural steel in architecture, and specifically to the specifications of the types of finish by the AESS that unfortunately too few architects are aware of, and that is very useful. So this now closes the 2020-2021 awards ceremony. Thank you.